Hello once again and welcome to another episode of the Monolio Rebik series.
In the Monolio Re-Bik series, Mono Mukundu takes a few classic Zimbabwean old-school songs and adds his own production interpretation after removing all the instrumentation using the newest AI software. He also provides background information on the artist. In the process, he hopes to bring new audiences to the works of these artists and pay tribute to their memory.
Today the group that I'm going to be covering is one of the most important bands of the 1980s. They introduced new concepts and at one time they begged Oliver Mtukudzi. One of their songs has become one of the most covered songs during live shows.
Oh yeah, Shawaka Uraya Banavako.
And also one of their songs was turned into a gospel song by the group Joyful Praise Choir. So it's a group that contributed a lot to the Zimbabwe music industry. In 1988, our independence celebrations, the reggae legend Bob Marley came to perform at our independence celebrations. So from 1980 onwards up to the late 90s, reggae music was the dominant foreign genre in Zimbabwe. So we had a lot of Zimbabwean local reggae bands like Nasi Tafara, Transit Crew, Isaac Chirwa, and so forth. So this group, instead of trying to imitate the Jamaican sound as it is, they came up with their own subgenre of reggae, which was 100% Zimbabwean. They called it Chigiyo. We are going to cover that later on. So during the 1980s to the late 90s, it was an unwritten rule that every band, when it performs their shows, they had to have a reggae segment. If the lead singer was not good at covering reggae songs, they had to employ one extra vocalist to enable them to cover the reggae songs. The most popular reggae songs that were covered that time, there was Funny Feeling by Dennis Brown and Substitute by Gregory Isaacs and any of Bob Marley's songs. So there are two key members of this band that I'm going to single out from the rest. Of course, I'll give a history of the whole band, but there are two band members that I'm going to single out for reasons that you'll find out later. The first one is Emmanuel Nkomo, who was the lead vocalist for the song Gomo Ramasare and other songs. According to Nkoma Gilbert Zamaida, is the one person who kept emphasizing that the band had to do its own original music, and he was very pivotal in the very first songs that they recorded, including Gomo Ramasare. So Emmanuel was born on the 8th of March in 1962. He was born at Gweru General Hospital, and he did his primary school in Jombe, at Jombe Primary School. But he did not proceed to secondary education. He just ended at primary school level. I spoke to Emmanuel Nkomo's mother on Thursday, the 18th of July, 2024 this year. She said that the song Gomo Ramasare was inspired by a mountain in Chirumanzu, a rural home. And she also claimed that she helped him compose some of the songs that he sang. The other key member of the group, who is the founder of the band, is Gilbert Zamaida. So Gilbert Zamaida was born on the 22nd of December in 1958. He was born in Chimanimani in Manicaland, and that's where he did his primary school level. But just like Emmanuel Nkomo, he did not complete his secondary education because that time it was during the time of the liberation struggle. So institutions were not functioning properly, especially in the rural areas. But he did his primary school at Chimanimani Primary School. Kuma Gilbert is the sixth and the last born in his family, so no good. I hope you were not spoiled, Kuma Gilbert. So he started music by playing a homemade tin guitar. All of us did it. I think all the guitarists of my generation going backwards, we all started by playing homemade tin guitars. So he started playing his own homemade tin guitar in 1976 in Mutare. And then in 1979, he joined his very first band. It was called Pejuri. That was in Mutare. And there was Jones Jovuyalema on lead guitar. Gilbert was on rhythm guitar that time. Jimmy Makurea was on bass. And Ephraim Mandea was on drums. Those of you who are from Mutare, I'm sure you know Nkoma Jimmy Makurea is one very active member who has influenced the music space in Mutare a lot. So big up Nkoma Jimmy. His second band was called Nuclear Reaction. He was still there in Mutare. In 1980, he joined Susan Mapfumo's Galos. But in June 1980, the disagreements with Susan Mapfumo and the whole band left for Gweru, and they changed the name of the band to York Band. The lineup was the same except that Jiminya Korea had remained behind with Susan Mapfumo, the same thing with Peter. So they replaced them with other band members later. And the other new member was John Misolo, who became the drummer. And Asfa Afati became the new bass player. Nicholas Kunaka joined them as their Western cover songs vocalist. And Edgar Tazivas was now their vocalist for Shona Ndebele songs. In 1981, they moved briefly to the small town of Zimba for a very short time. Then in 1981, in December, they moved to Kwekwe. So in 1981, the lineup had changed again. They had Robert Lunga on lead guitar, Nkoma Gilbert Jamaida on rhythm guitar, Nicholas Konak on vocals, Stanley Piri on drums, Fabian Chikamba on bass and vocals, and Miss Andlovu as the saxophonist. Now they had wind instruments in the form of a saxophone. Now there was a man by the name of Robson Ray Kadene who became their sponsor. A lot of bands that became successful that time had the help of sponsors. And these sponsors were just some good Samaritans who just wanted to help and to see the music industry grow. Sometimes they wouldn't want anything from the band. They would just sponsor them, like their accommodation, their food, their transportation, and everything, just as a way of contributing to the band's success. So Mr. Ray was their sponsor at that time. And he had a club called 007 Hideout in Kwekwe. And he's the one who renamed the band to Zig Zag Band. And Nkoma Gilbert Jamaida says that this man was like a messiah, their savior. He helped them a lot because at that time the things were not moving. Because if you follow my story and other stories that I always talk about, you notice that it's not easy to start a band in Zimbabwe. So those sponsors are unsung heroes because I haven't seen them being given enough credit. So on behalf of all the musicians, I would like to say thank you very much to all the sponsors. And I remember in Kwazana, in my second band that I played with Admayaka Sengawe, another sponsor by the name of Mr. Chaukura in Kwazana there. So I just took this opportunity to also mention his name and thank him. I know he's late now, but I think these people need to be celebrated. They contributed a lot to the Zimbabwe music industry. In 1982, the lineup changed again after Nicholas Kunaka left the band to join Oliver Mtukudzi as a back vocalist. So George Paradzai replaced Nicholas Kunaka as the new vocalist for Western cover songs. And in 1982, that's when Manyo Nkomo joined as the new vocalist for local languages. There's a bar called Batanai Tavern in Kwekwe. That's where ZigZag Band moved to and became the resident band. And they were expected to play Western cover songs. And in 1983, the time at Batanai Tavern, the lineup changed again after Robert Lunga left to become a DJ at the city council bars. So they did not replace him with another guitarist because that time George Paradzai joined in as a keyboardist. So Nkoma Gilbert started playing the lead guitar and the keyboard covered for the rhythm guitar. So that's how they started working with the keyboard player. That was in 1983. Ndlovu, who was a saxophonist, he also left the group and he was replaced by Bezo Munemo Piri, who was also a wind player. So after a stint at the Batanai Tavern, they rejoined Mr. Kadene again at his 007 nightclub right there in Kwekwe. In 1986, Oliver Mtukudzi had moved to Kwekwe. His band had left him and he had not band that time, so he approached Zig Zag Band and they became his backing band in 1986. The union was short-lived because they left him after a year or two. In the 90s, we had a serious problem with the AIDS pandemic that wiped away a lot of Zimbabwean musicians, and that's when ZigZag Band lost a number of their band members. So that marked the beginning of the end of the band. But I would like to mention other band members who passed through the band as well. We need to give them their credit. There was a drummer by the name of Davison Gunde. He was Pakshe Munjeliwa. He was a guitarist and a bassist. Ramson Chibamushure, Stephen Lunga, and a trumpeter by the name of Scott Mhlanga. And another drummer as well, Jones Mabande, who is still around in Kwekwe. So in 2003, Emmanuel Nkomo rejoined the band. He had left the band for some time. He rejoined the band in 2003 and they recorded their last album, which was called Chigiyo Volume 1, and the album was released in 2004. That was the last album they worked together as ZigZag Band. One night, they were performing at Batanai Tavern in Kwekwe. They were playing the song called Echoes of My Mind. It's a song that was recorded by Fred Neil in 1966, an American rock singer. So they were playing the song and Nicholas Konaka was singing. And after Nicholas stopped singing, the band carried on playing the song as an instrumental. So the bass player started to add some spices and started playing a reggae bass on the song. And everybody else followed in and they changed the instrumental to a reggae instrumental. And Emmanuel Nkomo started singing Chaminuka Ndimambo. It's an old folk song in Zimbabwe. And then later on, he started to sing the lyrics Gomo Ramasare. That's when the song Gomo Ramasare was composed. After playing the song for some time, they noticed that the chord progression and everything had changed from the original Echoes of My Mind song. So as they were playing, Robert Lunga came in with the mbira guitar and everybody loved it. And everybody started coming in with their own elements. Gilbert also came in with the mbira guitar. So they created a fusion on the spot that incorporated some mbira elements, but the main instrumentation was reggae. And Emmanuel Nkomo was very good at some Zimbabwean yodeling, which is very common and very popular in mbira music. I'm not very good at that. I'm not a good singer. So that marked the beginning of a new sound, which they later called Chigiyo. Nkoma Gilbert is the one who came up with the name Chigiyo. Chigiyo means dancing with your feet. So in 1987, they recorded Gomo Ramasare and it became an instant hit. So after a lot of the members passed away, naturally the group ended. Gilbert Ramaida was called to join the legend Thomas Mafumo in the year 2003, and he left for the US. That's where he is right now. But thanks to some surviving members of the ZigZag Band, they regrouped and now they've got a new look ZigZag Band, which is still playing in Kwekwe. I produced one song for them 3 years ago, I think, if my memory serves me well. So before I go to the jam session, I would like to thank two people that gave me the information that I was sharing today. The first one is Nkoma Gilbert Jamaida Gogo Nkomo, the mother to Emmanuel Nkomo. She also gave me some information. As explained by the intro, I use artificial intelligence to remove all the instruments and leave the vocals only. And then I do my own production interpretation. So ladies and gentlemen, this is Gomo Ramasare, the Rebik version. The vocals are the original versions, but all the instrumentations were re-bigged by yours truly. So let's go.
tanga tiri vapwere kwandakakurira ini kune gomo rinonzi Ramasare. Gomo munowanikwa mhuka nemichero yakasiyana siyana, saka tiri vapwere taida kufudzira mombe mugomo Ramasare, tichidya tsori toto, dhengeni, matamba, nechechete, chiono, makudo netsoko. Asi kata hatine kambo kataizvimba kudaro tichifudza mombe mugomo Ramasare. Muchero wataifarira zvikuru dzaiva tsori-tsori, chikonzero chinoti unotapira, ukangotipo imwe chete mukanwa waizobvapo. Saka tiri vapwere taifarira kufudzira mombe mugomo Ramasare, asi kakambo kedu tisingarege kuimba sevana vanga vari vapwere zvaidotinakidza. Jeka Gomo Ramasare, bona matamba, Gomo Ramasare, kana chechete, Gomo Ramasare, bona choto, Gomo Ramasare, bona choto, Gomo Ramasare, bona tokoit, Gomo Ramasare, bona tumbira, Gomo Ramasare, kana ngururu, Gomo Ramasare, kana makudo, Gomo Ramasare, bona makudo.
Everything that has sound be monolized.